Good afternoon, this is Brian. Today is a lovely Sunday, May 2nd, 2021. I'm here in the Cleveland National Forest in the Elsinore Mountains, which are a portion of basically a southeastern extension of the Santa Ana Mountains here in southwestern Riverside County. And I want to provide to you another plant spotlight video. Now, the plant I'm going to show you it's not a shrub or a tree like I usually do. I'm starting to branch out into more herbaceous plants as well. And what better time is there to spotlight this lovely natural work of art right here? The golden eardrops. This is Ehrendorferia chrysantha. The name chrysantha comes from Greek, chris, golden, antha, flower. It's got colored flowers, yellow flowered plant. So golden eardrops is a perennial, an herbaceous perennial in the poppy family, the Papaveraceae. It is a relatively short-lived perennial, and you'll normally find this coming up after severe disturbance, and a lot of times the disturbance is fire. I believe these plants are more likely to germinate when exposed to either heat or smoke charate from fire. And in burn spots, this is where you're typically gonna find this lovely plant. So again, it's an herbaceous perennial. Unlike most of the other spotlight videos I do, it doesn't form wood. And it's relatively short-lived, probably for several years. It doesn't live like 20, 30, 40 years or more like shrubs and trees that can live for very long periods of time. But it is a member of the fire follower community. And in this area we have a lot of ruderal vegetation, stuff that's not native, obviously, like we got mustards here. And then we also have a lot of native plants that come back after fire, such as obviously golden eardrops, buckwheat sometimes after fire, nightshades in the genus Solanum, California figwort, Ehrendorferia chrysantha, phacelias, and a lot of other Papaveraceae like popcorn flowers and cryptanthus. So the thing about golden eardrops, it is a plant that will typically, in the springtime, during the winter rains, it'll start sending up these new ferny, bipinnately compound leaves, and the leaflets are kind of lobed around the edges. So the leaves are kind of ferny, bipinnately compound. In other words, pinnate, they have a central leaf stalk, rachis, then they have dividing rachises, and then they have the leaflets. So it's twice divided, basically, is what bipinnate means. And kind of a bluish, grayish green color. Quite a pleasant looking plant. Very pleasant, even without flowers. But of course, the main event is in the springtime, when they send up these really tall stalks. When they send up these tall stalks, then you're going to get these flowers that have these two lobes sticking out, just like this. This is what the detail of the flower looks like on Ehrendorferia chrysantha. It used to be known as Dicentra chrysantha, but then the name got, I guess the taxonomy got revised on this one, and it became a member of the genus Ehrendorferia. So spring and early summer, depending on the elevation, I've seen this plant at 4 and even a little bit above 5,000 feet. Here I think we're at or a little below 3K. But I've seen this plant as high as just a little over 5,000 feet. You'll see it near where the station fire burned and some of the disturbed areas. I've seen it along the Mount Lowe Trail, and you'll see it in other scattered spots. You'll see it, scattered here in Southern California, wherever there were recent or relatively recent burns. So springtime comes, so do these big tall stalks that can get over your head. This plant is, well, it's the top, let's see, the plant's almost 6 feet tall, about 5'8"-ish. about 5'8", roughly. And these plants are close to 6 feet tall. Sometimes they can be even a little bit taller. And this is why I wanted to spotlight this plant now, is because this is the best time of year. You can see, look at the girth on this old stock from last year. This thing is thicker than any of these. Last rainy season was better, so these flower stalks are probably much taller. We're in a drought year, and yet it's still pumping out some beauty that's unmatched. Then it gets these little seed capsule-like things, like typical in the poppy family. Again, you could tell it does have some affinity to the poppy family. Just as the structure of the stems, I don't know, the structure of the stems just kind of remind me of something that would be in the poppy family, which obviously this is. Like, I've seen other members of the poppy family, like Ehrendorferia californica, you know, the California poppy, their state flower. You know, they can have stem structures kind of similar. So that's one thing I noticed. But there you have it. Ehrendorferia chrysantha. Incredibly beautiful, extremely showy, yellow flowered plant in the poppy family. Herbaceous perennial. Can grow taller than your head. Relatively short-lived, probably for a few to several years. I don't know if it lives up to a decade or more. It might persist for several years, but again, it's not going to be nearly as long-lived as a lot of the shrubs from the chaparral. So that's it. The beautiful Ehrendorferia chrysantha. Really trying to get into spotlighting more of our herbaceous plants, because I tend to focus more on our woody shrubs, trees, and subshrubs. But a lot of our color also comes from these guys, the herbaceous plants. So there you have it. Ehrendorferia chrysantha. And that will do it for this episode of Spotlight on Plants. And I hope you enjoyed it. Come out here in the mid-spring months and later spring and even early summer, once you get higher up in elevation. Check out that plant. It might not be abundant everywhere, except for where it's recently burned, but if you can find it, check it out. Take the time. Now, Spotlight on Plants. Thanks for watching. See you on the next episode.